video here. Hello, friends, and welcome back to Grand Finals of LUTI Div 6. Lois taking on Legato. Lois being the reigning low ink champions from this past weekend. Legato being the team that's going to win low ink in the next couple of months or so. Obviously, these two teams have played in low ink. Lois getting the better end of Legato. I believe they played in Swiss stage. Lois win. And they played in the loser's side of Alpha Bracket, which obviously Lois won because Lois won the whole tournament. On paper, Lois should be the stronger team. And actually, if you put either one of these teams in the Div 5 finals, they're going to do really well there as well. But this isn't low ink. This is a whole different animal, and we're starting off on tower control. Arguably, the mode that Lois looked the most vulnerable on in low ink. Legato coming out here with a little bit of a missile spam from Blurry on the V-Jet. But, I mean, this is pretty much what we saw out of Lois this past weekend on stream, right? I mean, we saw them come out with this kind of comp. We saw Poetry abandon the Splatling a little bit earlier. In favor of more aggressive comps right here. But Lois on the back foot right now until Link just starts popping off with this slosher here, getting a nice double, shutting down this push, waiting for the rest of the teammates to respond. So, Legato coming out, throwing punches early, but not enough to clear any kind of checkpoint here. Slayer going in. I don't know how I feel about someone called Slayer using a support weapon. That seems kind of false advertisement here. I like what Gray's doing here with the Nautilus, able to get a nice pick on that K-shot. Working around this right side as Legato takes a second stab at this first checkpoint right here. Slayer doing a good job keeping Link at bay on that right side. Link obviously wins that 1v1 right there, but it doesn't really matter because it does a good enough job of keeping Link away from the tower so they can clear this checkpoint. That's what it's all about. Get you some checkpoints. Ye with the most checkpoints wins the game. I mean, kind of weird because there's only 2 checkpoints here, but that just means this one is even more critical. Lois yet to touch the tower. Trying to find an opportunity to do so right here. Man advantage kind of in a neutral situation, so they hop on. Poetry taking a 2v1 along this right side. Ultimately get some help right there. And 2 players going down for Legato. Here's your first chance here for Lois to make a push. Kipu being the last one alive. This first checkpoint should fall with ease, especially with all these specials online for Legato here. Kizhaz doing a good job kind of guarding this great area. A very good defensive position if you can hold it, but if you're on the offensive end, you want to go on up and start taking care of business. And now it's starting to get a little scary for Legato. The checkpoint fell, you lost the lead, but now you only got 1 player left alive who's nowhere near missiles. Slayer going in. Can they save this checkpoint? Probably not. They do for now, but the man advantage completely in Lois's favor. Kipu able to get to sort of a spectator cam trade right there. But this checkpoint is going to fall, and now it's just a question of can they avoid the KO. 2 more players going down, and it's just Legato having a real serious issue trying to recuperate going in here. I mean, just kind of hero plays left and right is what's kept them in this one so far. Avoiding KO. Kipu get a nice splat right there. But still, damage done. That was just 1 push. That was just 1 push where they went from 100 to 6 remaining. And it's just because Legato never really got reestablished. It's kind of staggered back in right there. Didn't really have the specials they needed to kind of shut down that push. And ultimately, Lois able to just kind of snowball them right there. But this game's still going on. A minute 20 left to go. 2 players down on the side of Lois. Kipu's trying to go up right here. Poetry being the last player left alive is nowhere near the tower. This checkpoint's in danger of falling into Legato's favor right now. Kipu doing a very good job of spawn camping, or kind of ledge camping right there. Takes care of Link. But now Kazess coming there on the left side. Can Legato get their lead right here? Booyah Bomb's going to slow it down with 1 point remaining. Man advantage still into Legato's favor until 2 more players go down. Gray being the last one left alive. Wisely jumps out. They don't get the lead. Perfectly timed Booyah Bomb from Poetry. But it's a 1 point game with no checkpoints in the way. 45 seconds to go right now. And Link getting taken down. Link's going in. But Kipu is just feasting right now. 13 KA leading everybody right now. But the rest of the players for Legato really struggling to stay alive. Build up those specials, working together. Kipu should be taken care of here. And that is a wipe into the favor of Lois. 20 seconds left to go right now. I don't know if you want to ride this tower right now. You're just kind of delivering it to Legato. But if somebody's going to make a play right here, in this game, it's going to be Kipu. Slayer getting taken down. The Greats, they wisely jump off that tower and keep it in mid. And Legato just can't get to it in time. 1 point. Very nice Booyah Bomb right there by Poetry at the right time. And, you know, if you're Legato, I wonder, going back looking at it, if it's worth it staying onto the tower and staying alive to try to just kind of force that out and, like, die onto the tower just to try to, like, push it past that checkpoint there. But ultimately, what kind of the difference right there, obviously, was just the 1 push, and that's all Lowe's had. They just had 1 push. That's it. Just 1 push, and then just kind of taking care of business for the rest of the game right there. Someone using the mic command. It's just me. It's if you're wondering who is commentating this, just look at the name of the person streaming. That's who it is. Now here we go. A couple things to point out here. If you were not watching the Low Ink stream, you're going to be in for a bit of a surprise here. Another thing I want to point out, you saw Noodles come in. Noodles won Low Ink in April of last year with Night Surfing. So Noodles, who's on the roster here for LUTI, you didn't see this player at all in Low Ink because when you win Low Ink, you're banned from it forever. So now you got this player who we haven't seen before, and I wonder, do they stick with the, like, what kind of comp are they going to come out here? Usually you see double sploosh coming from these guys. But what does Noodle, they subbed one player out and brought Noodles in. So what does Noodles kind of add to the equation to this already kind of overpowered Rainmaker team that Legato is going to have to deal with right here? 1 point loss. If Legato can find a way to steal this one, this would be huge for them momentum-wise. But obviously this is, I mean, Rainmaker Humpback, this is their favorite map and mode combination. How unfortunate that this shit rears its ugly head right here. And there it is. Double Sploosh Junior K-Shot. All last-ditch effort. All swim speed. Double bomb from the Junior in all object shredder. Just pure chaos. I hear one hammer getting popped around that right side. Gray hears it as well. Dodges the hammer up on one player going down on the side of Legato. And then the hammer. Look at the pinching. If they fired both those hammers at the same time, that would have been something. Because they were on opposite sides of the map. Like, their spacing, obviously, really good. Picking up this Rainmaker, wasting no time. And it's the Junior player with the Rainmaker. Somebody was tweeting out today, support mains, also Rainmaker mains. It's working out for Noodles right now. Going in. 2 players down for Legato. Nether just feasting up top. The last player left alive. How did Slayer get that? That was the last player left alive. With the fall off down there, it might not mean too much in the grand scheme of things. But somehow Legato coming right back in. They get the white, but still 9 remaining. That's a pretty damaging push right there. And that was just the first minute. Rainmaker going to reset. We're going to start all over. Now, with Rainmaker, obviously, one wipe and the game's over either way. Especially if you have the Rainmaker, which Legato does. The problem is, Is Legato trying to make a statement here? Hold on, they do take care of one player. The Hammer's kind of pushing around that right side with Nether. It's a 2v2 situation. Gray's coming in here trying to lead the path for the Rainmaker. Gonna fall just to a bomb. And that's kind of just the situation. Just throwing the bombs right here. And Legato doesn't have any plan right now. Like, they're just kind of waiting for somebody to make a play, but, I mean, they're trying to force it somewhere that just wasn't going to work with that current state. Blurry able to get a nice splat. But again, here's what Lois is going to do. They play like they're losing all the time. Like, they're not going to just turtle up with this 9 point remaining. They're going to keep trying to pop the Rainmaker, which they're doing right now, throwing everything they got at it. Going to keep trying to pick it up, build up those specials, and they're going to keep trying to go with it. And of course, as I say that, they're all kind of huddled up in their spot, but still taking care of the K-shot. Link going in, Link getting denied. But they're still trying to force it around this right side. They're not trying to flank anybody to the left over there. They're just waiting for somebody to break through this corner. Blurry's going to take a shot at it. Kind of gets a trade. Kipu leading the charge right now. Slayer with the Rainmaker. But again, these bombs, they can't take it past this corner. Able to get a splat. Like what? I don't understand what they're hoping to accomplish right there. They're just sending one player in at a time, and then the bombs just kind of come in and shut down everything. And this is twice where they almost let the Rainmaker explode on themselves. 10 points remain. They got to go. They're not going to get lead right here. There's not enough time on this Rainmaker. All these specials. And now here's the question. How many players are going to die with Slayer? Look at the coverage of that. Explosion. Look at the defense here. All Lois is doing is just staying up top there and throwing bombs. And Legato has no answer for it. Yeesh. Maybe Lois doesn't need to be aggressive. I mean, they have the perfect comp. All they got to do is just sit up top and throw bombs, and it's over. Two players down now for Legato. Lois picking it up, working around this left side, and you know they got a free path. So again, look, they're not even wasting. They're not trying. They're trying to get the KO right here. They're not trying to stall with the Rainmaker. They're just going to try to pop it again. But yeah, they're able to get the pop again. Cancel a splashdown. Oh, these guys are crazy. Adds to the lead, actually. Adds 3 more points. And more importantly, bleeding time on the clock. And there's the flank. That's something Legato did not do the entire time they had the Rainmaker. Let's try to flank around that left side. Kipu able to get a splat. And now it's just one player left alive. It's Link. But Legato's got a long way to go if they want to win this one. Rainmaker in the hands of the K-Shot player who's popping off 14 KA. And now here's the question, like, what is your plan? Kipu's going in by themselves. The Galee's creating some space, but all these players for Legato are just staying up top there, or for Lois just staying up top there, and by the way, there's a sploosh right behind you. Yikes. I mean, look, beating Lois on Rainmaker is just going to be hard. It's just going to be extremely difficult for anybody to do, especially on a map like Humpback, which they kept counterpicking over and over and over again in low ink. And I don't think they lost on it the entire tournament. The only loss was on Manta Maria. But yeah, I mean, you could argue they're even stronger here. I mean, with Noodles, because in low ink, they had Poetry in. Poetry was running in Zap, but you sub Poetry out, who's been using Splatlinks, been like your pseudo anchor at times, and you sub in a pure Slayer or a pure support player like Noodles, then it just becomes even more, that ridiculousness of their Rainmaker comp becomes even more natural for them, you know? But Legato, desperate for an answer here. I mean, I think they realized that was going to be a tough one for them to win anyways. But you got to get back on track here. You need to win this one. You got Poetry coming back in, so you know they're going to do a little more Gotta have a little bit more traditional comp. Noodles is in there, so you probably got your support, your anchor, double slayer kind of thing that Lois is going to be bringing out here. And you've had some players on Legato that has been playing really well. Kipu's been doing really well. Blurry popped off in that last game with K-Shot. I mean, all these players are doing pretty good. You just got to kind of calm down here. Find a way to get a dub on this map. You'll be fine. Unless it doesn't. This is a best of 9, in case you were curious, preset map list. Winner wins all of Div 6. And of course, everyone's going to make the case, well, these teams aren't really Div 6 anymore. Right. On November the 13th they were, but obviously that was 2 months ago. This team's a lot stronger since it. Yeah, this is more standard. This comp coming out here from Lois. K-Shot, Junior, Soda, Inzap, or Remix. Squeezer coming out here from the side of Legato. That is great, who's been using Nautilus. Opting to go with a little bit more Boobles action. Still kind of keeping that range, but two more players going down on each side. And it's going to come down to Blurry. Okay, so Blurry's flexibility here, pretty nice to see. As Lois gets wiped, Gato able to kind of capture zone here, and they should be getting their first opportunity to make something happen. But Blurry, using the K-Shot, switching off of it and going with the jet here. I mean, I guess you're kind of sticking with... I guess you're kind of a missile spam no matter what, but still the kind of flexibilities, it's nice to see. Slight lead into the favor of Legato. The question is going to be how long can they hold on to it. Man advantage in the favor of Lois, and they just got to capture the enemy side of the map right here. Poetry in a very good spot up top here. Kind of controlling the bridge. Only real thing that can threaten them is maybe actually, no. The Squeezer can get into range. That jet with missiles can kind of force Poetry off right now. But you don't want... If you're Legato, you don't want Poetry getting comfortable up top here. And a nice placed bomb, as well as taking care of the Junior, will do a good job as that as well. Link not able to force a trade right there. And that is a clean wipe into the favor of Legato, who doesn't have a lot of penalty points to work with right here. I guess Kupu coming off the K machine as well, going with Soda. A lot of Soda action going on this map. Soda, very good weapon to see used. Whenever somebody posts something on Twitter, oh, this is my dream comp, it always includes a Soda for some reason. But it's a good weapon. Especially on a range like that, but a 2v1 situation, a trade's kind of the best thing you can hope for right there. Zone goes back into the favor of Lois. This one's obviously a little bit closer. Every game that hasn't been Rainmaker so far has been pretty close between these two teams. Noodles going in, getting punished by who else but Kipu. Already with 10KA, on pace for 20 bomb. With that Soda Slosher there is Kipu, as more players are going down. I feel like most of the fights are being won by Legato in this match. Or in this game, I guess you should say, so far. It's just it's so hard to keep control of zone. These two zone maps where everything, you just kind of sneeze on one zone and everything just kind of shuts down. And it's more so with the positioning too. Like Lois is doing a good job of holding position of that bridge, which is giving them enough time to like stall out the zone here and there. I mean, look at that. They didn't even have man advantage, so they were able to put the zone back into their favor again. How did Noodles must have got a splat bomb splat right there. But once again, Legato in control of zone. Not as many penalty points as they did before. Trying to hold on to it. Link kind of coming in through the back door right here. He takes care of a couple of players as well. And once again, look where Poacher goes. Immediately to the bridge. Able to finish off a nice splat right there. And even though lead went to Legato, they're not going to have it for much longer. Slayer just kind of building up some armor right there as lead goes back into Lois with a minute left to go. Burst bomb online from Kipu as well as Link gets taken care of. Firing all those burst bombs on the left side of the zone and on the bridge, trying to clear out some things up top there as more players are going down. And another zone flipped back, and Link's just going in right here. This is a 1v3. Wisely jumps out. Tried to make kind of a bit of a hero play right there. Didn't work out. Legato should get lead here yet again. Look at all three play. Oh no, they lose control of their side. No, the enemy side of the zone. Bubbles getting thrown that way, and it will keep players away long enough just to get control of zone. More trades are coming out. But look who has control of the bridge yet again. It is Lois, and that means they can just drop down here and capitalize everything. But now Kazaz is the last player left alive. That's a white. That should do it. That should do it. I can't see Poetry stalling the zone. Well, at this point, they got to stall and cap the whole thing in 5 seconds. Poetry able to get a nice splat right there, but it's not going to be enough. Legato able to hold serve right there and take one game off of Lois to make this set a little bit more even heading into a game 4. And that is the first time you're watching history right here. This is the third LUTI set that I have streamed on my stream. This is the first time that it's not going to be a 5-0 sweep. It took 13 games, but we finally had the other team kind of show a little resolve right there. And again, you know, the tower control game, that was 1 point. The obviously that splat zone game, a win from Legato, not easy. It's not that Lois is bad in any of these other modes, but they're just obviously untouchable in Rainmaker. They're clearly not touchable in Rainmaker. So you get them on a different mode, and it's a little bit of a different story. And what the heck is this? Why is this in the map pool? Clamblitz at Hotel? This is not okay. So what do you do here? I guess... And oh, okay. Interestingly enough, Poetry's gone for Lois, so they're not even gonna have like an anchor player, right? Like long range reigns supreme on the map like this. I guess they just don't want an anchor for something like Clamblitz, but still, if you're blurry and you want to stay on that V-jet, it's good right here. But yeah, this is awkward. Clamblitz Hotel. My goodness, I can't think of the last time I did a Clamblitz Hotel map in anything. It must have been a LUTI set from like last year or something like that. Or maybe no, maybe there was like Clamblitz Hotel was this year. Earlier. Regardless, Lois up 2-1. Best of 9. Heading to game 4 right here. Yeah, no anchor. Oh, wait, no. They dropped anchor. And that's Link. That is the Slosher player going with the V-jet, the C-jet, excuse me. So, Legato dropping. Blurry's on the K-shot here. So they're going anchorless. And your Slosher player, who's just been eating teams alive for the past couple of weeks, is now your race spam. Okay. Tint as well from Nether. Obviously, we saw a lot of Tint, this same kind of Tint action from Nether on the course of Lowink as well. 2 players down on the side of Legato. Gray sticking with that squeezer, but they're going to have to throw a few more bombs at the way at this Tint if they want to find a way to recontrol their side. And this is what this Tint is so annoying about. It's like they're just holding that space, and it doesn't seem like there's anything Legato can do about it. And now they just pumped all these... Okay, stayed alive just long enough. I'm surprised those bubbles got shredded so quickly. Who's got some clams right here? Okay, so we got a couple here. Link, with the 7 clams remaining, is going to back off. It's kind of staying around on this right side. So damage, crisis kind of averted, at least for now, for Legato. But if you're Nether, I mean, you just want to get right back in that spot, because that is just a nuisance. Now, with a Slosher, a good Slosher player like Kipu is, can deal with a tent. You can kind of arc shots over it, and you can be a huge pest to that tent. They can find a way, but like Nether's just location over there was just a huge issue for Legato. And they're lucky there's just 71 remaining after that push. Just kind of the bubbles didn't work out as effectively. Blurry throwing an ink wall. RNG on the K-Gal's not going to work out there when you have all 4 players seemingly kind of throwing everything they got at you. So we just kind of take stock. Legato's having a real difficult time just kind of breaking out of their spawn right now. Just kind of getting control of mid. And there's those bubbles again. They're not... that's not an object shredder. And 3 players going down all of a sudden. Noodle saying, the heck with this. You guys deal with that bomb. I'm going to go here and try to stop something down. And Gray's bubble's kind of floating around right now. This should be lead. Yes, it is. They've somehow, they jumped in on the backside with that Mercy Clam, I believe. Blurry, RNG still not working out. The K-Cal gods are not smiling on Blurry in these 1v1 fights. But it does get Legato lead. They were able to just get the splats that they needed and just kind of busted right through there. But yeah, I mean, this C-Jet, this is weird. I mean, from this player, like, they fired off 4 Stingrays, but none of them has seen crazy effective. I mean, 2 players going down on the side of Lois. Linked forced to kind of back up right here. Noodles on the right side as well. I'm really curious about this C-Jet. I mean, for zones, yeah, because you can just kind of sit back on, like, your court area, like where Gray is right here, and just fire straight across the zone. But for clams, that's suspicious. Minute 30 left to go here. We haven't really seen Nether able to establish control either with this tent. They're just kind of going into certain areas. Just kind of firing the bubbles. They've only fired a couple of bubbles right now. Blurry getting taken down yet again. And here comes yet another Stingray. Nice pop there on Gray to kind of shut down the K-shot. And 2 more players going down for Lois. Legato all of a sudden getting control of this entire set right here. A nice fall off on Kipu. Okay. Maybe there's something they can work with right there. If Nether can stay alive, get into a position, working around that right side. But somebody's over there. I believe that is Gray making short work of a couple of players and shutting down that push. 30 seconds left to go here. 2v4 situation. Nether selling out. They were trying to save that clam. And I understand why, because they don't really have a clam now, but they'll need to make one anyways. Like, just popping the basket isn't going to be enough to get lead. But right now, they need one just to force into overtime. They got 6 as a team. Nether trying to go in and make something happen. Too many players firing at them. Kiz has able to make a clam. But look at the team that's pushing right now. Legato's trying to go in. They're trying to end this one right now. They got all the clams they need. And Kipu's sharking around right here. Are they going to jump to Kipu? No, they're moving in on this top side right here. There's no time to make that push. I wonder, are they going to get in time? They are. They're going to pop this basket. But one player's left alive. It's Link, and that's a wipe. And Legato's going to hold on and force a game 5 with everything tied at 2 apiece. We got a set, ladies and gentlemen. We got a set here. Why the C-Jet, though? I don't understand with that. Interesting pick on their side. Not one I was expecting. It did top frag, technically. But Legato needed to get the win right there, and they were able to do just that. I mean, again, Clam Blitz Hotel, that's one of those maps where you have to have like a pocket for something like that. Like there's always players that are just like, this one map shows up, I can't use my main there, I got to use something else. Some people in the community will claim that's a good thing, and I think it is too. But if there's one map where like a good chunk of people have to change and use some weapon they're not really used to using or comfortable with using, what's the point? Like, you're just, why are we forcing people to practice one specific map and mode when it's not something they're going to see a lots of outside of other tournaments? So that's, I don't, that's kind of a weird. I think that's what kind of went on there with Lois. I think they're just not used to that map. Not that Legato was either, but Legato's natural weapons seem to fit that one a little bit better. But tower control here at Mako Mart, I got a good feeling Link is going to go back to that slosher, especially in this map. You got Poetry back in. Obviously, Remix is going to be coming in here. Now they're sticking in, probably going to stick with that that H3 here. I'm going to assume for Lois, K-Shot, H3, Remix, Soda Slosher. For Legato, this is the 4 players they got, right? Like, they haven't been subbing anybody out. It's Lois who's been subbing out all their players. I think you go back to that K-Shot here. I mean, with this map, you can't really go wrong with anything. If you want to do something crazy like E-Leader, X-Splosh, it works here. Sloshers work here. Blasters work here. Like, everything, like, there's some weapons that obviously work here better here than others, but there's no, like, true horrible weapon here. I don't know. Maybe GooTuber's not good here. I don't know how much we've labbed out GooTuber on this map, but Critical Game 5 here in finals. And I predicted the lowest comp wrong. They're going with double armor. Poetry said, nah, I'm not using the remix anymore. We're going to that Inzap. And they're building up armor rather quickly. Gray going back to this Nautilus and instantly gets punished for a bit of an awkward positioning by the Soda Slosher of Link. Kipu working around this backside. Able to get a splat on Poetry, and 2 players are down on the side of Lois. But right before a push can get started, one more player gets taken down in a 2v4 situation. Things got stalled out here in the opening. Both teams just trying to establish control in mid. Blurry trying to one up here. Awkward Stingray from the freezer area. It's kind of drifting off to the side over there. Slayer just trying to hold on to this tower just long enough. Danson gets across that first checkpoint. But yeah, Blurry has been, again, both teams in situations where you think, oh, you just sat on that person. Okay. That's one way to kill somebody. Both teams abandoning the missiles from the V-Jet often go with Stingray. Stingray making a little bit more sense here in my mind, as Kipu's just starting to feast on people right now. And Kipu's just been a difference maker all set long. Especially in that first game. Maybe it's just tower control. Kipu's starting to really do some damage here, and 2 checkpoints fall into the favor of Legato. They cleared that second one with ease. Still a lot of time left on the clock, but still. This Slosher versus Slosher battle. Link versus Kipu. So far, Kipu's been getting the better end of this one. That doesn't mean Link can't pop off as they take care of Kipu right there. 2 players down on the side of Legato. Popping some specials over here as they try to take their first approach at this checkpoint. Double armor, though. Already used 1 armor. The H3 armor is not going to be ready in time to avoid the Stingray. Instead, they just wait out the Stingray, and they do clear this checkpoint and got a little bit of armor to work with. Now, where's the Slosher? They're getting a trade with Kipu. Slayer able to clean it up on there. Now the question is, can they get across this second checkpoint, though? It's a 3v3 situation. Make that a 2v4 now, as Link immediately jumps back in and immediately makes a difference. Can they clear? This would be amazing if they can clear this checkpoint. They do. That is a wipe, but we basically got a tie game here with 1 checkpoint remaining for each team as we cross the halfway mark. A critical game 5. You want to have the advantage here, at least number-wise. That's going to be a lot for your psyche. Legato wins this one. They can say they've won 3 in a row against Lois. Lois wins this one. They can steal some momentum right back. This is a very important set right here. And this is going to be a critical 2 minutes for the rest of the set. Legato down. Slayer needs to stay alive. Starting to back up, building up some armor right here. Just kind of getting established in the right position. Kipu dodges that suction bomb just long enough. And now Lois is going to take a stab at getting the lead right here. They're basically, the checkpoint is 2 players going down. Nether's going to dance on that tower just long enough. They do get the lead. Blurry just attacking the tower from above, but 2 players are down. Nether able to get a nice trade. That's going to work out into the favor of Lois as they clear that final checkpoint. Poetry being the last player left alive. That is a wipe, but still damage done. They get lead and the checkpoint to boot. 1:15 left to go right now. Legato still in this one, obviously. They just got 1 checkpoint in the way here. But Kipu hasn't been able to get right back. If Kipu can just kind of ledge camp here like they did before. But that Stingray wasn't really combined with anything. That was an awkward trade, but we take those. And the fall is just kind of working into the favor of Lois right now. About 40 seconds left to go. Again, the coordination, at least in this, the coordination with Legato in the last couple of minutes here hasn't really been in the favor. I mean, that's another Stingray that's just being fired by itself. Like maybe a couple patches ago you could get away with that, but Stingray's not like a solo thing anymore. It's got to work in combination with something else. And we're just not seeing that coordination out of Lois that we were seeing in the beginning of this very game. It's just all of a sudden everything's starting to go out the window. And this is kind of how the last tower control game ended as well. Can they get back onto the tower? Yes. Are they going to be able to hold on to the tower? Looks like the answer is no. Gray being the last one has to back off, and Lois takes the set back into their favor 3-2 after losing the last 2 games. And you know what else kind of works against Legato? At some point, I don't know what. I haven't looked at the map list. But at some point, Rainmaker's going to rear its ugly head again anyways. So you got, if you're Legato, you got to rack up the scoreboard. You got to run up the scoreboard on all these non-Rainmaker maps. Splat Zone coming up next. Manta Maria. I'm assuming Rainmaker is next. After this one. Unless it's not. Maybe we can look at the map list right here. Let's do some investigative research right now. Maps for Grand Finals. Game, wait a minute. Okay, yeah, this is game 6. Okay. So game 7's Rainmaker. Game 8 is Clan Blitz, and then if game 9 if necessary. Anchovy Games. So Rainmaker's next. So if Lois wins this one, it's not going to be looking good for Legato in terms of winning this one. This is pretty much, Legato has to win this one, and then like the 2 after the Rainmaker one. And I mean, we've given automatic wins to Lois before. They're not unbeatable in Rainmaker, but you saw how discombobulated Legato was that last Rainmaker game. Just a complete lack of an answer of what they could do there. You got to imagine game 7 is going to be heavily favored into Lois's favor. So this is kind of a must. This is a must-win situation here for Legato. This game is definitely a must-win situation if they want to keep this set going a little bit longer. Obviously, it's best of 9. Lois needs to win 2 more. Splat Zone's Manta Maria. Poetry back in. I think Poetry has to go back to a Splatling of some sort. They might even use that tent. Because I think they want to bring beacons here. Tri-Slosher from Kipu. The Ballpoint. Ballpoint works out as well. Ballpoint really good on this map. Even before Ballpoint got nerfed. And even after Ballpoint got nerfed. It's really good, especially this one. You can just put beacons down. It takes so long. It's a country mile to get back in the zone. And the run speed that a ballpoint has can just kind of dominate the grates up there. Yes, Kipu on the tri-slosher able to take care of somebody on the enemy bunk. Clean up Poetry as well. The last player left alive. What? Okay. Okay. Jumping back to a beacon that's just kind of laid out there right in the open. But still, opening push going into Legato's favor. It's one more play. That K-shot that jumped back taken down. Blurry able to get another splat as well. There's currently a donut situation on the board as Noodles is now the last player left alive. Lois getting housed right now. And this is a scary situation because there's no beacons up. This is the last chance for Lois to get into this game right here. Specials online from Legato. Some specials online for Lois. They're throwing rain right there. They're able to stop one zone. A trade going into the favor. And Poetry. How do you not get that splat? Okay. Regardless, 3v2 situation right here. Blurry able to keep the fight away from zone instead of focusing on them. And Legato just dominates. Okay. Okay. Well, must-win situation. They won. Legato wins. We're tied at 3-3 again. Kipu just getting control of the enemy bunker, and then Legato just not just look back. Now, to be fair, it's hard to break out of a lockout on that map. It is kind of hard. That is a lockout-heavy map, especially when you get wiped. You can just kind of sit there and get in the right position and just kind of dominate from there on out. And those beacons would have been more effective. Like, the ballpoint was the right call right there. I didn't say ballpoint because I haven't seen them use it. I thought they were just going to stick with remix. But going to ballpoint there from Lois was the right call. It's just beacons don't really help you when you never get an opportunity to control even your own side of the map. When you're constantly just trying to spawn back in, all of a sudden that sub goes out the window. But Legato, I mean, yeah, they had to win that one, and by golly, they did. And we say they had to win that one because look what's coming right around the corner. Rainmaker, Starfish main stage. Now, you guys know, when I predict something, it goes wrong. But if I knew how to do the poll thing, and I had to guess, and you guys had to bet channel points on what team you think is going to win this Game 7, I would assume that every single one of you, even some of you cheering for Legato right now, would put your money on Lois. I mean, there just doesn't seem to be an answer from anybody in low level to deal with Lois's Rainmaker right now. And what are they waiting on? They got people in the lobby. However, I will say, if Legato somehow wins this one, they'll win this tournament. They'll be your Div 6 champions. Because they're making up their ground. They're losing on the tower control matches. But they're making up the ground on the splat zones. They've won the last 2 splat zone games. They won that last one in dominant fashion. They took care of business on the Clan Blitz games. And that's what's coming around the corner. Game 9... yeah, they got Clan Blitz coming up after this one, and then Splat Zone's right after that. Legato has been right with Lois on all of those games and better in the vast majority of them. So if somehow Lois does not win this one, how can you expect them to win on Splat Zones and Clan Blitz right after that? But again, this game right here, the Rainmaker game, this is Lois's one to lose. It's just we'll have to see them lose. I mean, yeah, access denied did it, but that was a 1 point. They barely held on to beat them by 1 point there in low ink. And then Lois was able to bounce back and win that critical game 5 anyways. Game 7. Winner will be 1 game away from winning all of Div 6. Loser will have their backs up against the wall. I guess it's worth noting Poetry staying in this time around as opposed to Noodles. So they're sticking with the Inzap instead of the Double Bomb Junior that Noodles is kind of busting out there. I wonder what the decision was for that. Either way, you still get the double sploosh. You still get the K-shot action. This all-in aggression. And Legato's just saying, where are the flanks going to come from? They got missiles on 2 players. There goes Nether along that left side, smashing Slayer. And if Nether can get another splat right here... Ouch! A bit too much. Gray gets a trade. That's going to work into Legato's favor right now. As Poetry grabbing the Rainmaker, just slipping all up. 17 remaining already. And Nether's trying to pop this by themselves. Might have done that if Blurry hadn't gotten the splat right there. Honestly, if they popped the Rainmaker right there, that would have been pretty devastating. Because they would have killed a couple of players with that splat as well. But still, 17 remaining. Yep. Not much surprise right there from the opening. Gray able to get a nice splat. Can they push up with it? They do got Inkjet ready to go. They can attack the enemy snipe, which is what they're doing right here. Starting to chase some players out. And Slayer now. Once again, with the last game, Legato just had no idea where they wanted to take the Rainmaker or who was going to flank or what their offense was going to be. Maybe on this map they have a better idea. They got a long, they basically have to get up the ramp if they want to get lead, right? To get to 16 remaining. They're going to have to like clear the ramp in the enemy pit right there. Easier said than done. Especially when, again, Lois playing like they're losing this entire time. Ooh, dodged some missiles right there. But 3 minutes left to go in this one. Just a whole lot of orange in mid. A lot that Legato has to come back from. Hammer kind of going off in your own base. It's 2 more players going down for Legato. And Kipu, once again, sticking with this Tri-Slosher, it has been a difference maker, obviously all set long. As Slayer shuts down this final push, where's Poetry? Poetry's back, so that will end this push yet again. But this is how Lois plays Rainmaker. They get a huge lead, they keep pushing, they keep bleeding time off the clock. They give you less opportunities to push. You got to waste time letting the Rainmaker reset mid while they build up more hammers. Kipu trying to get... There was a player here. I'm with you, Kipu. Where did that player go? Slunk back to the pit, it looks like, and now the rest of the buddies coming in and taking care of Kipu. I had no idea where that player went. It just vanished in the thin air. Oh, survived with that armor. But it's not really going to make a difference because there wasn't really anybody alive for Legato anyways. Everything in the kitchen sink literally getting thrown at the Rainmaker right there. Minute 30 left to go. Poetry wasting no time picking up that Rainmaker and just trying to take it somewhere safe. But Legato's really struggling to get splats right here. Gray's got 6. Kipu's got 6. A minute left to go. Slayer with the Rainmaker with 7 KA. Again, going in here, but all 4 players for Lois is alive. Are they going to force it? Oh, they get lead! What? What? Without slashing through anybody. Oh, a slippery lead right there. I was genuinely confused why they were just going in like that. But they saw the window and doggone it, they took it. In a monstrous lead with 30 seconds left to go, and all of a sudden, Lois in a scary situation. 2v3. Link gets taken down, and that's Lois's side of the map, isn't it? It is. But it's up in your snipe. I wouldn't pop that. If I'm Legato, I'm not going to pop that. I'm just going to keep it green. That's exactly what they're doing. Oh, but they do get the pop anyways and take care of 2 players. And now it's just going to come down to this kind of push right here. Slayer being the last one left alive. Sharknal on that right side. They easily recognize it. Slayer able to get a splat, though, and keep everybody alive. Poetry trying to take that fight. Does. And here you go. It's the speed. No hammers online. Blurry goes in and gets the splat. Lois goes down and Rainmaker. Wow. Legato slipped right through there. I could not believe that. A 4v4 situation. Nobody down. All of the players for Lois right there. I think if... I want to go back and look at it, and obviously I will later. I wonder what would happen, or I wonder if they were trying to attack the bottom of that ramp instead of recognizing that you can hop from that box in the pit onto the ramp and then hop from the ramp up to there. Like, I think the bombs were expecting the path of the Rainmaker to go straight up the ramp instead of taking the little leapfrog approach. So just a heads-up play. What was that, Slayer carrying the Rainmaker? An amazing heads-up play right there. Slip through the defenses and get a lead. I mean, that is a Rainmaker creating a play by themselves. There weren't any splats there. They didn't get any splats. That's just the Rainmaker making a play for your team. And now all of a sudden, Lois has been beaten on Rainmaker. They're down 3-4 in this set. Legato's won the other Clan Blitz game. They've won the last 2 Splat Zone games. All of a sudden, Lois is in serious trouble right now. Poetry coming out. Noodles coming in. Two straight wins for Legato. But Lois, again, this one, you would like to play those. You would like to have that Rainmaker game back, obviously. Obviously. But Lois, they've been in this situation before. They've played in a lot of games in low ink where they had to win or else they were going to get eliminated, and they found ways to win almost every single time. It's just a matter of, can they stop the momentum that Legato's got right now? Because it seems a little too much. It seems like Kipu's just a little too much. But on a map like this, Clan Blitz, Art Academy, if Link can get going, are they going to use that 10 again? I mean, you got Noodles back in, so I'm not expecting Nether to go the H3 again, unless they want to do that double armor. But I feel like Noodles coming in with Nether is the idea of Junior Tent play that they're going on here. And obviously, you're not going to have Link on C-Jet anymore. I think Link's just going to stick with a slosher, probably a soda. Gray going back to that squeezer. Kipu on the machine. Link opting to go with the tri-slosher with armor. So they do double armor to some extent. It's just not the H3 in Zap Junior play that we're going with there. Instead, it's Nether on the tent. And if Nether can get into those positions that they were getting into, like these annoying positions like this, you're behind everybody and you're soaking up attention, but a well-timed bomb right there. I believe that was from Gray. Able to kind of shut down any kind of pincer situation that could come out from the side of Lois here. Legato just one win away from winning this one. It's a nice trade there with Link. And Kipu opted to go back with this K machine. Kipu been playing really well all set long. But Lois needs somebody to kind of step up right here. This K-Shot player can have a heck of a game to start lighting up people, and the rest of Lois can kind of feed off of that. They got something they can work with right here, but instead, 2 players are down from the side of Lois. Nether kind of forced to retreat back here. That's never a good sign. Link stuck in mid, can't kind of shut down this push from behind, isn't able to get the splat, and the other clan comes back in. And more clams are starting to fall in here for Legato. It's 2 more players are going down. It's a 2v2 situation. This is a heck of a push coming out from Legato. Gray, being the last player left alive, gets cleaned up by Noodles. But 42 remaining. That's a huge opening push. But a lot of lives went down. So this is going to be mid-control for Lois. And they got something they can work with as well. They got the Mercy Clam. They got 8 other clams to work with as well. And they got Legato really boxed in on their own set right now. The Inzap player gets taken down. Tri-Slosher as well. And a lot of nice bubbles up top here. Nether stuck in here, but they don't have a lot more clams to kind of follow up with. But they are occupying this space. They are getting a lot of permanent points onto the board. Link being the last player left alive, nowhere near the basket. So a good push. It's not going to get you lead, but it's something you can build off of going into the next push. And you still got half the game left to go. Oh, there's a bomb up there. Is that Gray again? Gray. Drop the squeezer. Just go to Junior. Your bombs are lighting people up right now. I guess you can't really get the bubbles with a vanilla Junior, though. Those bubbles doing a good job. Legato able to pop the basket yet again. As they do get rid of their penalty points. If Kipu can land the splash, then they do. It stays alive. Oh, somebody's jumping in here with a Mercy Clam, and they don't land it. They're going to throw that Mercy Clam away unless Gray can make another crazy play, which they won't. Push over. They added a little bit to their lead. They lost some clams in the process. 2 minutes left to go. So we just kind of take stock where everything is right now. Lois really kind of struggling to make something happen. The Inzap popping off right now. 10 KA from Noodles. 2 players starting to go down. Make that 3 now from Legato's. Lois starting to jump in with a clam. Lois trying to make sure that player doesn't escape. And Noodles has enough clams to get the lead, but they all get taken out. What happened to the rest of the teammates? It seemed like a good situation, but I guess some more trades happened in mid. Death by paper cuts. Minute 15 left to go. Popping the basket and then throw in about 3 or 4 more clams. You got lead here for Lois. Otherwise, Legato's going to win this tournament. Link learning from last time. Or did they? Or did they? They did. Okay, I was about to say. Gray's over here just spamming the R button. But look at all these missiles coming out. And all these players kind of stacked up together for Legato. But they're still able to take care of Link. Legato turtling up yet again. Another bomb kill. Another bomb kill from Gray. That one a little bit helpful. You just kind of bank it off of the Rainmaker or the tent shield. There's still 30 seconds left to go. That tent, the tent's just not working. They're just shutting down the tent. And oh, this is a misfire. That was a little bit of a misfire. And all of a sudden, Lois on the back foot. Link can Link make some kind of crazy play over here? No, because they only have, Link has 9 clamps. Can Link make something happen? Oh, they do. They grab the clamp somehow and keep it open. 2 more clams, and Lois has this one. Link falling down. Link, what is this? Oh, my goodness. A solo play for the ages. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. We got a game 9 out of nowhere. Link. Well, I honestly, I don't want to be prisoner of the moment, but that is one of the most ridiculous solo plays I've ever seen. Wow. Wow, Lois was done. Lois was done. They were all wiped. They had like Noodles responding back in on the backside. Link able to find, where did they find that last clam they needed? Popped the basket, killed everybody, and just said, I'll take those clams you guys brought me and win this game. Link just soloed that game right there. I cannot believe that. I cannot. Wow. And Legato, who had that one, they won that game. They won that game, and it just went away from them. All the momentum's on Lois's side right now. Oh. Game 9. Winner wins all of Div 6. This is a hell of a set we got right here. This is a hell of a set. Splat Zones, Anchovy game. Good map and mode. Poetry's not back in, though. I assume they would want to go with that Splatling, but they're not going to have it here. I don't think that tent is the play, though. I just don't think the tent's been working, even on Clan Blitz. So they're probably just going to go double armor again, maybe an H3 and Junior of some sort. But yeah, if you're Legato, I mean, obviously you see no player from Legato's readied up at all. They're taking a little bit more time. They got a little bit more flexibility between these 4 players. They can be flexible. But I mean, in game 9 situation, I'm using my main. And I'm just going to go, if I'm going to lose, I'm going to go down with my best personal weapon. Right? Because this is one of those moments where it's just, you don't, it's just something you don't really practice. Like, yeah, you practice this map and mode, but you don't practice this specific situation because you can't. It's impossible. Until you're actually in this situation, you can't really practice for it. It's just a different kind of feeling that goes through your body right here. But the whole tournament, 2 months of playing, comes down to this. Splat Zones at Anchovy game. Blurry going with the splash. We haven't seen that. Nether going with the mini. So both teams using the final trick in their bag here that they haven't busted out all day long. And Blurry going with the I mean, this isn't really that different from K-Shot, but there's a bomb right there, Kipu. Obviously, they're going to keep the aggression coming up here. Opening lead going into the favor of Lois as Legato is kind of backed up in here. Kind of a flip of the script of what happened in the last game that happened on Splat Zones. Except now, it's Legato that's backed up. I don't have... Have they really recovered from that loss they just took? Link here trying to get in a 1v1. Anakin, I have the high ground. Yeah, but I got burst bombs. Kipu doesn't really care. That's the first splat of the game. And now you see Blurry starting to come in from this backside. A good opportunity to get a double through 2. I think that 3 players going down. Noodles just saying, you know what? I got armor ready. I'm just going to stay here, throw some bombs. We're going to get back in. Heck of an opening push for Legato, or for Lois. It looked like they were going to win it on that one push right there. Armor getting popped right now, and you see everybody going in. Here comes the burst bombs. The splashdown going to cancel a little bit of them. Blurry gets taken down. Make that Kipu as well, so the zone flipping right back into the favor of Lois. As Grace is kind of stuck by here by themselves. Yeah, you need to get out of there. Not much you can accomplish right there. And a nice splat. Who was that? That was Nether. The other Splatling player over here. Very paint-heavy mini Splatling. Not a crazy amount of killing power. But able to get a nice kind of fall-off splat right there. As all the penalty points are gone for Lois. As they're starting to do some serious damage there. Blurry getting taken down. And now, what's the response going to be? They're boxed out. They're completely out of their own plat right now. Here comes the armor. And slips past. These bubbles are going to have to make a splat on the zone. And they don't do that. The splashdown right here. 3 players getting taken down. In the zone going back. So something happened on the backside. The bubbles were the great distraction needed. And a splashdown in the right kind of spot on this map does do a whole lot of damage to the zone. But the bubbles, the just perfect amount of distraction needed for somebody to kind of come in and make a play right now. And all the penalty points for Legato are gone. Armor coming out right here is Lois able to push right back in. Lois doing a better job of doing these coordinated pushes back into the zone. But they're not enough to cap right there. I believe the bomb rush from Blurry, just a little too much to overcome. Eventually, Lois does get in control of everything. And 3 players from Legato, the last one's left alive, stuck in this awkward spot right here. One of them jumps out. Do the rest of the Legato players get the memo? Yes. So everybody's retreated. And this is where the lockouts have just been different. Legato has been struggling to get out of this. They got armor. They got bubbles. I'm assuming Gray's going to drop on this right side yet again, and they do. Same bubbles from the last time. Kipu firing a splashdown from there? I don't understand. And that's going to be game. That's your tournament. And Lois somehow comes back from the dead in game 8 to get control and not look back in game 5. Lois wins LUTI Div number 6. Congratulations to them. What a weekend those guys have had. And Legato, man, a heartbreaking loss. Especially how that last one played. But if I'm Lois, and your Saturday is just getting started, I'm taking Link to the local pub, and I'm buying that guy a pint. Oh my goodness, that play in game 6 or in game 8, absolutely insane. Absolutely insane right there. Fantastic set from both teams, but just different. I mean, Link just a little too different right there. Wow. Wow. I'm going to go back and watch that, honestly. That's a heck of a play. Good set by both teams. Legato taking second place in all of Div 6. And yes, I will say this. This will be the last thing I say, and then we'll go raid somebody. Yes, neither one of those teams are actually Div 6. You saw the same thing I did. You've seen what those teams did. You see who's playing in grand finals of Div 5. Yes, either one of these teams is more than capable of winning Div 5. We know that. Who these teams were when Divs came out on November the 13th is not even close to who they are now, especially Legato. My goodness, Legato is a whole, arguably a completely different team from when they got their Div back in November. But just a fantastic set. I mean, Lois playing in some clutch sets, and they just don't know how to lose. I cannot believe that. I mean, Lois just doesn't understand that they're supposed to lose some of these games, and they just don't, for whatever reason. Hell of a set. Let's go raid somebody. We'll get